All right, boys and girls, welcome back to the drive-thru for a special Positive Wednesday edition. Brought to you by Hardee's. Hungry for some Starburgers and fresh scooped ice cream? Get yourself some Hardee's. All right, look, we got a little three-tiered warm-up here, okay? What's the answer to this question? 5. You would add 5 to both sides if you wanted to do that, and you get x equals 5, okay? What's the answer to this question? That's not the answer to it, though. I want you to solve it. And you would not want to distribute. Would not be radical 5. Yeah. It's like it's already been factored for you. Think about this. You got two things that multiply by each other. Thing number 1 and thing number 2. And when you multiply thing 1 times thing 2, the answer is 0. So what must be happening? Hasey? Either x equals 0, or x equals 5. Is that what you said? Excellent. That's what's going on, right? Don't believe me? Put in a 0 for x. You get 0 times 0 minus 5. 0 times negative 5 is 0. Sweet. Put in a 5. You get 5 times 5 minus 5. 5 times 0 is 0. Those are your answers. Okay? Does that make sense? We've been factoring, but we don't exactly know what we're doing. We have to today. All right. For this one, you could plug it in your calculator, or we could use Caitlin's little quadratic formula calculator trick that I'm going to show you here after this lecture is over. But really, you should just factor these, or else you're not going to get to the end of your ACT. This would be one you should absolutely factor. Looking for two numbers that multiply to be negative 10 and add to be negative 3. What are those two numbers? Negative 5 and positive 2. So once you get it to this step, you got two things that multiply by each other and give you 0. So that means one of those things is 0, or the other one of those things is 0. So now we're right back to this one. So what does x equal? 5 or what? Negative 2. Okay? So far so good? All right. Now we're going to carry on with your worksheet 5-2. So follow along. If you're able to understand that warm-up, you will be able to do 5-2 with no problem. Okay? Once again, the hardest part of this assignment will be understanding the directions. Write each polynomial in factored form, and then check by multiplication. Okay. So, we want to rewrite x cubed plus 11x squared plus 30x in factored form. So what term do they all have in them? And what do we have left with on the inside? Now the next question we ask ourselves is this thing factorable? Can you think of two numbers that multiply to be 30 and add to be 11? Excellent. Okay, circle it. That is it. That's the answer. Okay? I hate this part because I'm about ready to confuse you. But now I'm going to do this part. I'm going to check my answer to make sure it was right. Okay? So you're done. I want everybody to understand that. The question is answered. Now I'm just checking. So x times x plus 6 times x plus 5. You have to do this one multiplication at a time. So take your x and multiply it by this. You get x squared plus 6x times x plus 5. You see how I did that? Now you FOIL. First is x cubed. Outer is 5x squared Inner is 6x squared. Last is 30x. I know I'm going kind of fast, but this is how algebra goes. Okay, and then you end up getting x cubed plus 11x squared plus 30x. Is that what we started with? Then we know we did it right. All right, now we're moving on. We're moving down a section on your worksheet on the numbers 6 and 7. Okay, so what they're saying is find the zeros. So what you do is they want to know, when will y equal 0? Okay, well, do you recognize this problem now from the warm-up? What values for x will give us a 0 for y? So do you remember how to do this from our warm-up? Either x plus 2 equals 0, or x plus 3 equals 0. So what's our answer? Say it again. Yes. X equals -2 or -3. Oh, geez. Find the zeros and then graph the function. So now we will pop this bad boy into our calculator. I should have got my thing warmed up. Sorry. Y equals clear. I'm not going to turn the lights off because you guys could just do this. Oops. Clear. Parentheses. X plus 2. Close them. Times, parentheses. X plus 3. I don't know if you need that times. I assume you do. Close it. Graph it. Go zoom 6 to my window. Oh no. Good, that's what it looks like. So now I just plot it. Looks like okay, you see how I did that? I'm not sure if you'll be able to see the calculator on the video or not. I think the calculator makes it weird sometimes. Okay, now I'm going to rewrite this question because I think you might miss something if I don't. Do you see that number 7 is different than number 6? So what are my answers for x? What are my zeros? If I want y to equal 0, then how am I going to solve this? If I want to solve 0 equals x times x minus 1 times x plus 3, what's my answers? -1. Nope, not -1. +1, because you're solving x minus 1 equals 0. So x equals +1. So what's another answer? -3. And what's another answer? 0. Very good, Alex. You see that? Do you understand? Those are the zeros. That's the answer to the first part of the question. Because if you put in a 0 here, you get 0 times -1 times +3, and 0 times 1 times 3 is 0. Does that make sense? That's what's new. All right, so now I know we're going to have something here. That's -3, something at 0, and something at 1. Okay? I will have you hit the lights for this one if you don't mind, Jack, because I legitimately don't know what this graph looks like. Y equals, clear, x times x minus 1 times x minus 3. Thank you. X plus 3. Okay, did I do it right? X times x, oh, what is that? X times x minus 1. Did I have the x in there? Okay, graph it. Look at that. And notice, it matches what we would predict. You do not have to do this. This is just so we kind of have a understanding of what the heck we're doing. This would be y equals x squared minus 1x times x plus 3. Don't even write this down. Just follow me on this. I'm foiling it. I'm just going to show you what it really is. So that's going to be y equals x cubed outer plus 3x squared inner minus 1x squared last minus 3x. So it's y equals x cubed minus 2x squared minus 3x. What's the value? Let's see, how did they ask it yesterday? Oh, predict the end behavior of this graph. Is it positive? And it's odd, right? So it should go from low to high with 3 zeros. Excellent. You understand how this relates to what you learned yesterday? Okay, we're almost done with the video. Good question. For today's homework, get the zeros right, get the shape of the graph right. On the quiz, it might tell you to list 5 points. But keep in mind, you've already got 3 of them listed. Yeah, but there's no way you'll finish this homework if I make you go to your table and look up 5 points every time. Okay? Good question. All right, last page. So, this is now combining the first page and the second page. So what we have to do is factor this thing. So we're looking for 2 numbers that multiply to be 2 and add to be 3. 2 and 1. So what are our zeros? Sorry, zeros. -2, -1. When it says state the multiplicity, I guess just write 1 each. Don't worry about it. You're not going to understand what that means yet. You will on the next one. Okay. Well, don't foil this. Just write this in number 12 as y equals x plus 5 times x plus 5. Isn't that what it means to square something? Multiply it by itself? So what are the zeros for this? -5, and then you'll write twice. Does that make sense? That's what it's saying by the multiplicity. That's really weird directions. I'm telling you, it's always about figuring out the directions. Yeah, it's going to hit -5 technically twice. Okay? So I think what that'll look like is just this. That's probably what the graph looks like. Because we already learned, if you put a 5 inside the parentheses, it's just at left 5. I think we learned that once, and I remember it. Sounds good? Can I get a boom? Boom!